Boxing Doc. The short answer is no to both questions. Both questions are absurd. But you got people like Stephen Naismith, who doesn't know shit about boxing. And surprisingly, Max Kellerman, a guy whose opinion and analysis I have tremendous respect for, asking these questions and actually answering them. Max Kellerman said that Terrence Crawford would knock out Floyd Mayweather as he stands right now. Ridiculous. And they're making this analysis based off of the McGregor-Mayweather fight. I think what you have to understand is that context is very important, right? This was a very unique fight. Did Mayweather look vulnerable in this fight? I don't think so. But, of course, there was the perception that he was getting hit and taking shots from Conor McGregor. But let's really dive into this fight. And again, let's apply some context. Was Floyd Mayweather fighting a different fight from all his previous fights? Yes. We haven't seen Floyd Mayweather offensive since I don't even know what fight to go to. But Floyd has primarily been a defensive fighter and secondarily an offensive fighter. His defense leads into his offense, right? But defense is first and foremost for him. That wasn't the case in this fight. He was walking to Conor McGregor. He was walking, and he said he would do this. He said he would walk towards him, right? And he did that. In the process of doing that, he got caught with a few shots. And by the way, I went back and watched this fight 2 times more. So I watched the pay-per-view fight, and then I went back and then I watched the fight again twice on YouTube. It's clear. It's clear that most of the shots that I thought had landed in real time were actually shots that were parried off of the gloves. There were shots that he was catching on his elbows, using his forearms. I mean, the guy's such a defensive, genius that you can't really catch some of these things in real time. You got to go back and you got to really take in what's happening. Watch it over 2-3 times to see what these shots are doing to him. And it's crazy how fast he's able to parry some of these shots, or he's able to get out of the way of some of these shots. He got touched with a lot less than I thought he'd been touched with. But anyways, there was this perception that he was getting tagged because he was coming forward. Conor McGregor had the reach advantage, and he was touching Floyd as Floyd was trying to come in and land shots. And so there's this notion or this perception that Floyd has slipped. He hasn't. Again, let's apply context. When have you seen Floyd offensive in a fight? It's been a very, very long time. I'm willing to bet a decade at least. But yes, because he decided to walk him down and let Conor unload his arsenal so that he could deplete him and make him tired, he got caught with a few shots. The beautiful uppercut by Conor McGregor, as you see in this photo right here. But that's no indication of Floyd's slippage or his ability to perform. It's an indication of this fight and the strategy that Floyd employed. Right? Floyd could have fought a defensively brilliant fight. It would have been boring, but he could have done that. Conor wouldn't have landed a single punch. And, Floyd could have sat back and counter-punched the entire duration of the fight. But that wasn't the strategy that Floyd was trying to employ. So him getting touched, barely, by the way, is no indication of his ability to perform. Now, I don't want people to think that I'm naive. Floyd, at 40 years old, has regressed. But in what? Not in his ability to perform. In physical advantages. Of course, that makes sense. He is no longer in his prime. He's past his athletic prime. He's an older man. He's in his 40s. By the way, I say that acknowledging the fact that he's actually retained much of his physical gifts. Right? But of course, he's not who he was at 25 or 21. Not as athletically explosive. But what has he done to compensate for that so that his ability to perform has not been compromised? He's been able to compensate with boxing wisdom, the IQ, the boxing mind, the boxing brain, the boxing computer that he is. That's what he's been able to compensate with, and so there's no appreciable decline in his ability to perform, and therefore there's no slippage. There's no slippage. I just find it absurd that people could be insinuating such a thing. Secondly, Terrence Crawford knocking out Floyd Mayweather. When has any fighter knocked out Floyd Mayweather? Never. Fighters have had a challenge putting him down. You know, Zab Judah was the only guy to successfully do so, and it wasn't even ruled a knockdown. You know, Floyd was so athletic to the point where he didn't fully go down. He was able to, you know, maintain his balance. So Terrence Crawford would not be able to knock out Floyd Mayweather. I mean, Max Kellerman takes these absolute stances and he argues them well, but I mean, you got to be kidding me. Off of this fight, you're going to suggest that Terrence Crawford would knock out Floyd Mayweather. That fight I would love to see, and it would be a high-level chess match. That's what it would be. It'd be a very boring fight, but I believe that Floyd, being the tactician that he is, and still, again, retaining much of his physical gifts, would be able to take Terrence Crawford easily to 12 rounds and eke out a decision. That's how great Floyd Mayweather is. That he's able to compete with a boxer of supreme talents and skills within his own prime. And Mayweather's out of his. So I'll leave it there. You know, I'm going to give credit to McGregor for, you know, coming in there and actually for the first round, you know, looking very competitive and having a good boxing IQ. You know, the presence of mind to land this uppercut that he's landing in this photo. Not a lot of boxers, you know, would have that presence of mind. Just to read what Floyd was doing in terms of throwing that right hand and then, you know, slip it and try to counter with the left uppercut and land it so accurately. Props has to be given to Conor McGregor, but this is no indication of Floyd slipping. So y'all need to stop it with that. Quit it. My goodness. This is Boxing Doc signing off.